The sun peeping through as big Paul Harrigan warms up for this clash between St George and Newcastle. And we're underway for the first 40. The Saints holding that one up into a very strong breeze for a long time. Robbie McCormack gets it back about 9 metres out from his own line. Newcastle rode high on the shoulders of the big forward pack last weekend. Tony Herman tries to improve things from dummy half. Rodwell to Glanville. Quite capable of busting the line himself. Back for Sargent. First of many charges from this big man. He draws 4 defenders towards him. Now they will look for the kick. Rodwell is back. Gets enough support from those in front of him to put the kick in, but straight to Potter. Did well to take it. It was swirling around in the breeze. And Potter is taking just short of his own halfway. Walford. He needs a big game after last weekend. His position is under fire. Mark Coyne gets it back to brother Peter. Now to Goulet right on halfway. Goulet, along with Priddle, will be the big man expected to take on Sargent and Harrigan. Midfield for St George as they get a taste of Newcastle territory. Goldthorpe. Tierney had Priddle outside and he carries defenders down near the 22. St George started on fire in their semi last week, grabbing an early try. But that was just about the end of it. Sargent hammers Peter Coyne, but he got it back. Tierney looking for a one-handed. Tierney still trying to bust some tackles. He gets called upon to play at last tackle. Goldthorpe. Good bomb in front of the posts. Bounces awkwardly. Newcastle grab it back to their own in goal. Peter Coyne cutting men out. Potter into the line, taken by Hagan. They used to be teammates at Canterbury Bankstown. Peter Coyne shows it inside, then out for Mark Coyne. Goldthorpe on a run around, taken by Schuster. Heron forced back up the middle. They keep their line, Newcastle. They kept both sides of the ruck intact. Peter Coyne shaped as if he was going to kick, then gave it to Beattie. Beattie back for Goulet. Great defence all over the stadium.
It was great defence by the Newcastle Knights, but also fantastic attack by the St George side. They're spreading the ball. They're exciting this crowd.
Penalty comes for the Knights.
Much to the relief of the Knights supporters.
Very few errors coming from both sides. Matthew, I like the way that Newcastle shape up whenever St George try and spread it.
Yeah, they're doing very, very well, but I'm very excited the way Scott Goulet's playing. I think he's getting a lot more involved than he did last week. He's running wide of the ruck. He's touched the ball on 5 or 6 occasions and has looked very dangerous. On the other hand, I'd like to see Johnny Shue get into the action a bit more. He hasn't touched the ball as yet, and I think he needs to get in there just to get a feel of things and set himself down.
Hagan. McCormack. 32 out. If anything, St George might just have had a little better of the play, but the Knights now answer the call as they go inside the danger zone to set things up for themselves. Hagan short blind. He's worked that side a couple of times. Ball's kept alive back for McCormack. Awkward one as he gets it back. Glanville. Beattie wasn't watching. Walford's got the intercept. Walford dancing around, leading a merry chase. Well, Beattie would have had it cleanly if he had have kept his eyes on the ball. But they still come away with it. Barnhill. It wasn't as if the Knights didn't have a chance at that end either. Potter. Real semi-final football. Who wants to grab the opportunity? Priddle was there, but Hardy didn't unload. 2-0 to the Saints as they fire away. Huge back line. Coyne stays outside for Barnhill. Barnhill cannot unload. The Knights survive that one.
And the St George bombs a certain try. They had a huge overlap but didn't take it.
Barnhill back for Potter. They still have a chance this side. Sargent driving defence on the fullback. Last tackle. Collins to Goldthorpe, who's got some numbers. Good defence from Schuster to hurry out there. Now Heron back for Goulet, loses it, and the Knights survive. Great character, but what about the tackle from Coyne. Mark Coyne on O'Davis, who lets go with a big right hand. That might cost him. Peter Coyne, they only have it by 2. Godden is hurrying. So are the St George chasers. Herman grabs it. He beats the skipper Beattie. Not Mackay, loses it. This is what happens in semi-finals. It could be goodbye this time. They're all offside. Newcastle. Goulet to Heron to the corner. Back in field for O'Davis. They got away with it, Newcastle. Glanville gets it back and keeps it alive. Godden likewise for Sargent. Sargent a one-hander back. Hagan, great ball. Rodwell Harrigan. Great save from Walford, who came off his wing. They were gone if he managed to unload. Dying seconds. This is the last throw. Hagan to the in goal. Who wants it? Did he get it down? No. Newcastle were coming home strong. St George will be happy to see half-time. Just the one goal in it. Schuster missed out by inches at the death. It is 2-2. Psychologically, the Knights the better at the break. St George had all the early ball and the early chances, but Newcastle came back extra strong.
Should have just been a penalty. Graham Annesley is one of the referees trying to get in this grand final position, and he's putting himself under pressure.
Here goes Sargent. I thought it was Harrigan. Back for Herman. Yes. Now, was it momentum? Was he sure? Annesley with a big call. Herman taken by Walford. I don't think his momentum was stopped. The ball was mid-air. He bounces up. Why can't he reach? Still short of his own halfway. Coyne. Quick hands from the Saints. Mark Coyne tries to get it away. Goulet picks up the dregs. Goes infield. Outside the 22 on the last tackle. They have numbers to the right. The Saints. Hands required and quickly. Coyne with a floating long ball. Took too much time to get there. They kick to the in goal. Herman goes back. Herman and Walford. Herman away from 1. Away from 2. Away from 3. That is a memorable run from Tony Herman. He will play it in 49, 32 metres away from the Newcastle line as Goldthorpe goes extra wide to Coyne. Coyne kicking, holding it up for Walford, who's onside. Walford missed it. St George knock on. And the ball is a handover for Newcastle. Another one slips by. Still they look for the try and not a field goal. Newcastle defence is everywhere and holding. Goldthorpe right up the middle towards the post. This is perfect. Peter Coyne is deep to the left. They go to him. Does he have time now? He's got plenty of time. Somebody remembered. They worked it finally, and Saints break the deadlock. 3-2 St George. Peter Coyne created some extra room, sent it sailing down the middle, and maybe the hopes of a grand final chance still.
I think whoever scores the next points is going to win it without any doubt, Graham.
Peter Coyne, cross-kicking, nobody's there, Davis hurries! Oh, Davis just gets there. That was a great kick. Elliott will play it in front of the post. They can go either side.
Or go for another field goal.
The dummy from Goldthorpe. Now it's the last tackle. They will try and keep it in the in goal to get possession back. Peter Coyne up the middle. Hardy! No, inches away. Was not a bad option. Clever play from Peter Coyne to Hardy.
Was great play by Peter Coyne there. Even though the Newcastle Knights have got possession now, they are in disarray. There's no formation whatsoever. The Saints are just sitting back there saying, come here, fellas, we're waiting for you.
7 minutes only. Now, Coyne will be sent back to the blood bin. Collins will play it with 40 seconds only. They should be able to eat up time. in what is the lowest scoring semi-final in a long, long time. 30 seconds only. The great city of Newcastle survived a massive earthquake last year. It doesn't look, though, their football team will survive the famous red and white strip of St George. Maybe there is one last throw of the dice. 15 seconds, the scrum will pack. There will be one play left. Maybe not. St George are taking their time. Annesley is calling them oval. Forget about it, it's gone. Newcastle out the back door. St George survive in an absolute incredible finish here at the stadium. The Saints stay alive. Newcastle are finished. Mark Coyne, a battered hero for the Saints. Newcastle played much without the ball in the second half at the wrong end of the field. Heron kicked a goal, and Peter Coyne the winning field goal for St George. Schuster got a goal for Newcastle. 3 points to 2. Schuster saw little of the ball in the second half. The Saints got together in a gutsy display. Plenty of character in their performance. They hung in and hung in. Their fans know they still have a chance next week.
It was a fantastic performance, I think, Graham.
Welcome back. We're one of the lowest scoring semi-finals in a long time in rugby league over here in Australia. Dramatic finish for St George, but they clung on and they are still alive. We thought their best was at the back today in this sudden death semi-final. Their fullback Michael Potter is our Lion Red man of the match. Potts, you're used to semi-final action in the old days with Canterbury Bankstown. How are the nails? Are they down to the quick?
Yeah, they're right down to the knuckles. The boys come out on top today, just on the scoreboard, but it was a fierce encounter in the forwards.
Last weekend it was so much more open, not a high scoring, but still plenty of chances for St George in the Newcastle 22 today.
Yeah, we had a few opportunities there, and we didn't come up with the points, which was a little bit disappointing. We had an overlap there a couple of times, but full credit to their defence. They held us out, and perhaps we had a few bad options, but that's the way it goes. We got the money.
Mick, how does it feel? All of Sydney's going to be riding on your shoulders now. The great white hope of the Sydney Premiership against two teams from out of town.
Yeah, it's feeling great, actually. You know, I walked in there today and Eric Cox actually said to me, geez, there's 34,000 in here already. And I came in and told the boys, mate, and I think they grew another 6 inches. You know, it is a good bonus for us, and let's hope they keep participating.
Is it driven into you that way of training? Is it great tradition of St George and all those years of premierships? Is it that the way it's going to be, us against them?
Well, I guess so, Graham. I think it boils down to that eventually because, you know, we're the guys who've got to get out there and perform. But you know, it's like a very hard job now, mate. You've got to perform from Monday right through to Sunday, and you really just worry about your own game. And I think players like Ricky Walford today, their job was on the line, mate, and they bounced back creditably.
What does all those premierships mean, though, for St George? All that fabulous tradition. We read about Illawarra, Newcastle, Brisbane, the great support in their cities. What about the fans of St George?
Well, you know, I know they're just dying to see us win it. You know, I walk around the streets now and they're pulling up in carloads, yelling out to you. The bus trips into the games, there's people bipping on the expressways, and you know, it was an awesome sight today to see probably 30 or 40 buses from Newcastle arrive. We arrived in our one, but you know, our support was still here. I think the tradition's there. We get people coming from all over the country, and as far as Darwin, I think they'll be riding Saints.
Is this it for you? Is this last throw of the dice, 92?
Well, mate, you know, I was just sitting there, I had a few tears in my eyes out there when the hooter went today, actually, and I think a few boys got it on film, but you know, I'll just sum it all up, mate. I think if we can keep going and get me into grand final, mate, what a way to go out. You know, it's been a great club to me, the great tradition. I can walk around forever saying that I was part of the St George history, and that's not a bad way to go out.
Brian, how do you describe the win?
Oh, mate, it was hard fought. I thought gutsy is probably a good word to describe the way we had to really turn things around, because at half-time it was looking a bit dangerous for us.
After last weekend, you had to turn it around. You took a couple of chances. You made some late changes.
Yeah, not so late, Graham. We basically knew what we were going to do by Tuesday, and it took a bit of courage, I've got to say, to do that, but it worked out for us. It doesn't always, but today it did. Maybe
the hype gets built up now. We've heard all week long about the city of Newcastle behind the Knights, the fans down in Wollongong behind the Steelers. What about the great white hope being St George against those from out of town?
Yeah, well, I got to say that I just can't believe the number of people who write and fax and ring our club. Maybe they don't all get here because they're so far flung. I guess it's a sort of a reflection of those great days when St George were, won all those competitions, and now people are far flung all over the place. I actually got a fax from Somalia this week, and people in New Zealand, the whole lot, and we know we've got hundreds of supporters, thousands of supporters out there who want us to do well, and I'm real pleased to be able to look at them and say thanks for all your support, and keep coming. We need more support yet.